When people think rabbi, they are often thinking of an old man with a big old beard. And that's never what I'm going to be. I'm Rabbi Jacqueline Nates-Mushin, and I'm the senior rabbi at Temple Sinai in Oakland, California, and I am the first Chinese American rabbi. Rabbis are, the word means teacher. What does it mean to be an insider? What does it mean to be Jewish? What is that experience of it? If we go back as far as we can, nobody can think of anybody who was ever a rabbi. It's not a family tradition. I grew up in San Francisco. My parents are both physicians. My mom's an OB/GYN, my dad's a psychiatrist. My mom converted to Judaism before my parents were married. I have 4 siblings, so we have a very big family. My father's family also escaped Nazi Europe. They were in Vienna. And so that family story was very significant to us and was a huge part of our understanding of who we are. I became very active in the Jewish community on my own, especially as a teenager. We all celebrated becoming bar and bat mitzvah when we were 13. There were line dancers at every single one of our bar bat mitzvah celebrations. At these significant moments in our lives, it was important to us to be able to make sure that all the symbols that represented us were there. We didn't have a lot of other families that had the same kind of makeup as ours, but because we were a large group, I think that also just helped us to feel like we had our own mini tribe and our way of doing things. My favorite Jewish food, I would say, is matzo ball soup. And my favorite Chinese food is chicken feet, which was one of my favorite things when we would go out to dim sum. We celebrate 3 New Years. Jewish New Year's, Rosh Hashanah, is usually in the fall, the early fall. And then, of course, we have January 1st, and then we have Chinese New Year's. There was such a wonderful wealth of tradition and of holidays and of family. I was a religious studies major, and then I added cultural anthropology. I remember some of my other religious studies classes that spoke about Judaism. And when you are on the outside describing a religious tradition, it's very different than being on the inside and experiencing it. That was the shift. I wanted to be with the practitioners. What is it like in terms of just encouraging people to be authentic to who they are and connected to Judaism and connected to all aspects of, their heritage and things like that? It's a big responsibility. It's a humbling. It's an honor in a lot of ways. A lot of people also come to me to talk about how do we make sure that our kids understand where they come from. And that's where I just feel so fortunate about the way that my parents had modeled that for me. Things don't have to be at odds. They don't have to be clashing. It's actually a really special way to go through life, to understand that that you fit in many places. My being Chinese and Jewish is very much a product of my being an American, that my parents, in the 60s at UC Berkeley, that enables me to be here. If you ask me what feels like it outweighs one or the other, being Chinese or Jewish, I couldn't answer. Truth is, if there's any one identity that probably stands out the most, it's probably being American.